Way. So today we are going to learn about and put together the elements of a pitch. So even though I was introduced, I'm going to go ahead and introduce myself again. I am a writer of fiction and creative nonfiction, a marketing communications freelancer, the former VP of Communications for Sisters in Crime Canada West, the former Director of Communications for the Federation of BC Writers, and the former leader of the South Okanagan chapter of the In Girls Club for Neurodivergent Kiddos, and a proud mother of two. You might be sitting there thinking to yourself, what does any of that have to do about pitching? And why is she talking to me tonight about such a topic? So the things that you want to answer in your pitch, and I'm going to answer for you now, are why me? Why this? Why now? And who cares? It sounds harsh, but it's true. So let me try again. So I am the author of Every Fall. I failed brilliantly nearly 100 times before landing my first book, and I have to tell you that number has gone way up since I made that slide. I am passionate about pitching because I know it is a way better way with better odds to get your eyes on your manuscript than the slush pile in alternative ways. I have experienced pitching in almost every single way. I have succeeded in placing 2 of my books, but I'm definitely still in the trenches like you. This is one of my favorite quotes because I'm extremely stubborn, so it works for me. Successful authors are just writers who didn't give up. I like that because I figure one day I will get exactly what I want as long as I just keep on going. So back to why me, why this, why now, who cares, and why them? I added that one in there because when you're pitching, if you have the opportunity, you want to let them know why you're pitching them as well. So breaking down the elements, why this? This is where you're going to tell them about your book. First and foremost, that's why you're there, and that's what you're selling, your book, the one book in your hand that you're trying to sell. Why me? This is where you talk about you, your writing, and why you're the best possible person to write this book. This one doesn't always count, but if your book is timely or has to do with something that's going on right now, or a genre that is trendy, make sure to address why your book is important right now. Who will care? Again, this is something that they're going to ask. Who is your audience? Who will read it? And what are comparable titles? They're going to want to know where your book sits on the shelf in the bookstore, who's going to pick it up, and ultimately also what publishers are going to be interested. Why them? This is a fabulous opportunity to tell them why you chose to pitch them in particular if it applies. So ahead of time, you're going to do some research on the folks that you're pitching so that you know what they're looking for. And if there's something in their profile that sticks out to you, you can mention it organically in conversation and they'll know that you didn't just blast a whole pile of agents at the same time. So I hope you have a paper and pen handy or phone or device or whatever you like to write on because you can take some notes. Why me? Why this? Why now? Who cares? And why them? Take a minute and think about your book and jot these down. And while you're doing that, I've had a lot of people ask me, when is the perfect time to work on this, to work on a pitch, to think about all of the elements of the pitch? I say do it while you're writing. So if you don't have a book yet and you're partway through your draft, I always have a separate document on my screen where I dump this kind of information, even if it comes to me in pieces, because ultimately you are going to be pitching your book to agents, to publishers, to bookstores to try and get your book on the shelf in the store. And then in the end, you're still going to be pitching readers when you do a signing. If you don't have a lineup out the door, like I didn't, when people come up to your table, they want to know what your book is about. And it only takes 1 or 2 times of rambling and rambling until you realize I really need to tighten this up. Okay, now let's address the elephant in the room. If you're like me, you're stressed, even just thinking about it. Doing anything out of your comfort zone, like public speaking, like talking to an agent that you've never spoken to before, or when there's a lot riding on it for you personally, you are going to be anxious. And that's okay. Tell them that. they're human too, even though we've seen them on podcasts and YouTubes and things like that, and we all know, most of their names. They know that you're human, and they might be nervous too at one point when they decide they want your book and they're competing with other agents for it. So when you're nervous, when you're stressed out about this, when you're sitting in front of the agent, take a moment, take a breath, take a few deep breaths, but take a moment and remember why you wrote the book in the first place and why you love it. This is crucial because your enthusiasm and love for the book is what's going to get it sold. And then I wrote here with a little help from your notes, because even though we're told to try and memorize and, be engaged and be in the moment and eye contact and stuff, if you get nervous, it's okay to look at your notes. I always bring something with me just in case. And then if you're doing a large pitch event, then you can refer to your notes when you're in the long lineup waiting for the agent. So you've got something to prepare with. And also, if they don't want your book, if they shut you down right away, you don't want them either. It just means that they are not the right one for you.